Deep in the humid lowland forests of Southeast Asia grows a fruit that has been called the queen of all fruits. Beneath a hard, deep purple rind lies flesh as white as snow, divided into soft segments, sweet and delicate and impossibly fragrant. For centuries this fruit was almost unknown beyond the tropics, guarded by distance, by climate, and for one long stretch of history by law. This is the story of the mangosteen. Its origins reach back thousands of years to the islands and peninsulas that today form Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. Botanists believe the mangosteen was domesticated from wild relatives in the Sunda Islands and the Malay archipelago, where it has been cultivated for at least 1,000 years. It spread slowly through the region, carried by traders and travelers who valued both its taste and the medicinal properties attributed to its rind. The tree that bears it is unlike almost any other crop. The mangosteen is famously slow. A seedling may take between 8 and 15 years before it produces its first fruit, and even then it demands near-perfect conditions. It cannot tolerate frost, drought, or temperatures below roughly 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It grows only in a narrow band near the equator, in soils that are rich, deep, and constantly moist. For these reasons, the mangosteen resisted the great agricultural expansions that carried so many other crops around the globe. Even the seeds are strange. They are not true seeds at all, but a form of clone, produced without fertilization, so that every mangosteen tree is essentially a copy of its parent. This means there is remarkably little genetic variation across the world's mangosteens, and it helps explain why the fruit has changed so little across the centuries. The mangosteen entered Western imagination through legend. It was said that Queen Victoria offered a reward, sometimes described as a knighthood or 100 pounds, to anyone who could bring her a fresh, ripe mangosteen. Whether or not the tale is true, it captured something real. In an age of steamships and empire, the fruit spoiled long before it could survive the journey to Europe, and so it became a symbol of the unreachable, the taste that money and power alone could not command. Harvesting the fruit remains an act of patience and skill. The rind gives no easy signal, so pickers watch for a shift in color from pale green to a deep reddish purple. Because the fruit bruises easily and the trees can rise more than 30 feet, workers often climb by hand or use long poles fitted with baskets, gathering each mangosteen with care. There is no mechanical harvest, no shortcut. A single tree, once mature, may yield hundreds of fruits in a season, and a healthy tree can go on producing for decades, sometimes for more than 100 years. For much of the 20th century, Americans could not legally buy a fresh mangosteen at all. Fearing that imported fruit might carry the Asian fruit fly, the United States banned fresh mangosteen imports for decades. It was only in 2007, after the development of irradiation treatment to eliminate the pest, that the ban was finally lifted and the fruit appeared, cautiously and expensively, in American markets. For a brief moment, the mangosteen became a genuine forbidden fruit on the far side of the world. Today, the mangosteen occupies an unusual place. Thailand, Indonesia, and other Southeast Asian nations produce most of the world's supply, exporting fresh fruit to China, Japan, and beyond, where it commands high prices. Its rind, long used in traditional medicine, has fueled a global industry of juices and supplements built around compounds called xanthones, though the boldest health claims remain unproven. Yet for all this commerce, the fruit resists the modern demand for scale. Cannot be rushed, cannot be easily shipped, cannot be re-engineered. It grows on its own patient schedule, in its own narrow corner of the earth, much as it did 1,000 years ago. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson of the mangosteen. In a world that has learned to grow almost anything, anywhere, at any time, here is a fruit that still answers only to the tropics, still asks for years of waiting, and still rewards that waiting with something no factory can imitate. The queen of fruits keeps her own counsel, and feeds only